There is a great difference between studying hard and studying smart. Many people assume that the longer they sit with their books, the better their results will be. They believe that spending sleepless nights, copying notes endlessly, and memorizing word for word is the secret to success. But countless students have discovered that this is not always true. Hard work, while important, is only half the equation. The other half is strategy. Studying smart is what separates the students who burn out from the students who excel. Studying smart means being intentional, focused, and strategic. It means making every hour count. It is about understanding, not just memorizing, applying, not just reading, and retaining, not just rushing. To study smart is to get the maximum results in the minimum time without sacrificing your health or peace of mind. This is not about working less. It is about working effectively. Over the next sections, let's go deeper into what it means to truly study smart and not just hard. Knowing your purpose. Every top student begins with a sense of purpose. Before opening a book, they know exactly what they want to achieve. Purpose directs focus, and focus brings results. Too many students open their books and simply start reading with no clear aim. They glance at a page, memorize a line, and close the book without grasping anything meaningful. Smart students avoid this trap. They sit down and ask themselves, what am I here to achieve today? If the answer is to master a formula, they focus on the formula. If it is to understand a historical event, they devote themselves to grasping the causes, the timeline, and the consequences. When you know your purpose, your energy is channeled. You no longer waste hours drifting through material you don't even understand. Purpose makes you sharper, faster, and more effective. Think of it like traveling. If you know your destination, every step brings you closer to your goal. But if you wander without direction, you may walk all day and still arrive nowhere. Understanding versus memorization. Another difference between studying hard and studying smart lies in the depth of learning. Hard studying often leads to shallow memorization. Students try to cram lines, definitions, and formulas into their heads without understanding how they connect to real life. This kind of memorization is fragile and fades quickly. In an exam hall, such knowledge slips away, leaving the student blank and frustrated. Smart studying, however, focuses on understanding. When you understand something, it stays with you. You can explain it, apply it, and even teach it to others. For instance, instead of merely memorizing Newton's laws of motion, a smart student asks, how do these laws apply to driving a car, kicking a ball, or flying a plane? When knowledge is connected to practical life, it becomes meaningful and unforgettable. Average students fear difficult topics and avoid asking why. Top students embrace curiosity and dig deeper until they understand the principles. That is the difference. Understanding liberates you from fear and gives you confidence that no amount of memorization can provide. Active learning. Smart students don't just read and highlight. They interact with their books. They ask questions, summarize in their own words, explain to friends, or pretend to teach an imaginary class. This process of active learning forces the brain to engage deeply with information, which strengthens memory. Imagine two students preparing for the same test. One reads his notes over and over for 5 hours. The other reads for 1 hour, writes a summary in her own words, and then quizzes herself for another hour. Who will remember more? The second student. Why? Because she was actively involved with the material. The first student was only passively consuming it. Active learning transforms knowledge into ownership. You don't just know it, you command it. That is the essence of studying smart. Time management. One of the most powerful secrets of top students is time management. Time is the most precious resource, and how you use it determines your outcome. Studying hard without managing time often leads to exhaustion and burnout. Students spend long hours with little to show for it. Smart students, however, plan their time carefully. They divide their workload into smaller tasks, create daily and weekly schedules, and set clear priorities. They know when they are most productive morning, afternoon, or evening, and schedule their toughest subjects during those hours. They use techniques like the Pomodoro method, focusing deeply for 50 minutes, then resting for 10 minutes before starting again. This is not about studying longer, but studying smarter. 2 hours of focused study with proper breaks can produce more results than 10 hours of distracted, unplanned studying. Focus and elimination of distractions. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Phones buzz with messages, social media tempts with endless scrolling, and even the noise of the environment can pull attention away from studying. Many students study for hours with their phones beside them, checking every notification. At the end of the day, they realize they studied for 6 hours, but only truly focused for 1. Smart students understand that focus is the secret weapon of learning. They create study spaces free from distractions. They silence their phones, close unnecessary tabs, and give their complete attention to their books. They know that 1 hour of deep focus is more powerful than 5 hours of scattered attention. Focus is like sunlight through a magnifying glass. Spread out, it warms but doesn't burn. Concentrated, it becomes powerful enough to set things on fire. That is the power of focus in studying smart. Health, rest, and balance. Smart studying does not mean sacrificing health. Top students understand that the brain is like a machine. It needs fuel, rest, and maintenance. Studying all night without sleep may feel like hard work, but it is counterproductive. A tired brain cannot retain information. Lack of sleep reduces focus, weakens memory, and harms health. Smart students balance work with rest. They get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, eat nutritious food, drink water, and exercise regularly. They take breaks during study sessions to allow the brain to recharge. They understand that a healthy body supports a sharp mind. Average students think success comes from endless hours without rest. Top students know that balance is what makes their studying sustainable. Overcoming procrastination. Procrastination is one of the greatest enemies of success. It whispers, "Do it later. You have time." But later never comes. Many students delay studying until exams are near, and then they rush, panic, and regret. Smart students fight procrastination with discipline. They start immediately, even when they don't feel like it. They break tasks into small steps, so it doesn't feel overwhelming. They reward themselves after completing tasks to stay motivated. They know that the secret is not to wait for motivation, it is to use discipline. When you discipline yourself to begin, motivation follows naturally. That is the smart way. Finally, the difference between studying hard and studying smart is the difference between exhaustion and excellence. Hard work is good, but without strategy, it becomes wasted effort. Smart students combine hard work with intelligence, discipline with purpose, effort with strategy. Studying smart means knowing your purpose, focusing on understanding instead of memorization, engaging in active learning, managing your time, eliminating distractions, staying healthy, and defeating procrastination. These habits not only help you succeed in school, but also prepare you for life. Remember, smart work multiplies the power of hard work. If you embrace both, you will rise above average, avoid regret, and unlock a future full of opportunities. And if this message inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to Motivational Dose for more life-changing content. God bless you.